Hellboy returns to the silver screen. New cast, fresh reboot. So was it good? Or should they have just stuck with Hellboy 3 from Del Toro? Let's talk. Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin, and this is my spoiler-free review for Hellboy 2019. Now, will you enjoy this movie? That kind of depends on what your expectations are going in. If you want to go in for sheer, mindless, gory action, this movie is gory, and it's got some action, and the action is pretty good. So if that's all that you're looking for, then I think you could go into this movie and enjoy it and have a great time. Now, if you're kind of hoping for some of the heart you got out of Hellboy and Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, I feel like this kind of lacks that heart. So if you're going in with that expectation, you might not enjoy it as much. Me, personally, I'm giving it a C. I think this movie was just totally average. Honestly, I would rather have not seen it on the big screen. I think I would have rather waited till it was on Netflix. That said, average doesn't mean I hated this movie. I don't feel like I was bored while I was watching it. I thought the action sequences were pretty good. There are some pretty funny one-liners, so there's a lot of things about it that I did enjoy. I just also had my fair share of negatives. So first, let's hit those positives. One of the biggest positives for me is the cast. I did enjoy the cast. I just love Ian McShane. I like his voice. I like his mannerisms. I like that dude as an actor. There's a little bit of heart to the Professor Broom from the Del Toro movies, but that's neither here nor there. I did enjoy Ian McShane's performance. David Harbour as Hellboy, I liked him. I thought he did a good job. I thought he captured the character well. I thought he had a good charisma with it. I thought he had good humor. So overall, I think he worked as the character of Hellboy. Ron Perlman, he's still the best Hellboy in my opinion, but David Harbour did a really good job, and his Hellboy fit the tone of what this movie was going for, which was kind of a more serious, darker tone, but at the same time, Hellboy's, you know, kind of funny and has got that personality, so they definitely had some of that personality and some of those jokes and one-liners in there, and I thought David Harbour did a good job with a lot of those one-liners. Milla Jovovich. I like Milla Jovovich, probably because I love The Fifth Element, and that was the first movie I ever saw her in, and so that movie probably won me over to, like, be a fan of hers, and I also like the Resident Evil movies, his guilty pleasure, fun zombie movies, and I think she does a good job in that. I liked her in that role. I just wish we went deeper with that role itself, but I liked her, and I thought she did a good job. Now, hitting some of my negatives of this movie. I feel like it overall didn't have the heart that the first two Hellboy movies had. The first two Hellboy movies are a bit more quirky, and they're a little bit more cheesy, but they know they're quirky. They know they're cheesy, and it's just sort of there to be like that, and they do a good job with that, and they embrace it. They have fun with it. There's heart behind it. This one felt like it was all at once trying to be way more serious, a darker, more gritty take on Hellboy. But hey, it is funny because he still got the one-liners and the zingers, and it really felt like it was forced on both ends. It felt like it was forced trying to be more serious, and it was forced trying to be more funny. And so I kind of felt like those two things were competing while I was watching the movie. Whenever it landed on something semi-interesting, I felt like it just sped right through. So I really felt like the story and the pacing of the story itself was kind of a mess. There were like some scenes where they'd be talking, and then the camera would zoom out to a wide shot, and then it would feel like an obvious voiceover of the actor that's, you know, trying to still continue talking in the scene, just to kind of fill in context as it moved over to the next scene as a way to be like, okay, we're moving this along. It honestly felt like I was watching the, I don't know, a really edited version of a much fuller movie. And so I just felt like there was more to it. There must be a director's cut here somewhere, so I just felt like there were obvious cuts, and so I felt like the story moved in a weird way. And I felt like it was just gory for gore's sake. It didn't add to it for me. It wasn't something that made this movie unique enough and special enough. You know what I mean? So that's what I felt about that. They tried really hard to make this rated R, and it felt like they tried really hard to make it rated R. Let's drop several F-bombs here, and let's rip somebody open over here, and that's what it kind of felt like. It's like, guys, chill out. Do what works for the story, and do what works for the movie. quit trying to feel like you have to be R-rated to make it separate from the other one. So it wasn't really, to me, worth rebooting from the first two. I think I would have been just as happy to see a Hellboy 3. So all of that put together is why I'm giving this a C. I don't hate this movie. In fact, I did enjoy it. I don't have a strong desire to see it again, and honestly, I wish it was a straight-to-Netflix movie, and then I could have just watched it from home, and I probably would have enjoyed it a bit more that way rather than spending some extra bucks to see it on the big screen. But hey, if you're a huge Hellboy fan and you can have your expectations in the right spot and all you want is the sheer mindless gory action, then you go and you have a fantastic time, because I think you'll enjoy it. The action sequences are pretty darn good. They do have some pretty funny one-liners. There is stuff to be enjoyed in this movie, and so if you could go in with the right expectation, you can enjoy that and have fun. I did enjoy it. For me, just kind of an average movie. Nothing too special, nothing bad, nothing horrible. And you know what? I really miss characters like Abe Sapien. So, what did you think of this movie? Let's talk in the comments. And while you're there, hit the subscribe button to become a Durbanian. Hit the bell by the subscribe button so you're notified for my next movie review, ranking video, theological analysis, trailer reaction, or anything else I do here. I'm Durbin. Thanks for checking out Durbania.